Hey everyone, it's Hairyfrankfurt, and we all already know that what Logan Paul did was the wrong thing. But is talking about it really going to solve anything? Make sure you subscribe if you're looking for positive twists on seemingly negative situations. I'm not going to explain what Logan Paul did. I'm not going to show any of the footage of what Logan Paul did. While I can sit here and complain about that video and explain the video and show you the video and bag on Logan Paul as much as I want, that's not actually going to help the rate of suicide. I can sit here and I can complain about how bad suicide is and talk about how suicide has impacted me personally, and you guys know on my channel, if you've watched any of my videos, it's something that has happened in my life. And I can sit here and I can talk about that, but I think it's important that we remember this quote from Mother Teresa. Is talking about suicide actually preventing suicide? Logan Paul's video was awful. It was poorly done, and I think even he agrees that it was a bad idea. So instead of dwelling on the problem of the video, I think we should take this time and learn something about the issue of suicide globally. The discussion of suicide has increased in its prevalence since Logan Paul's video, and I think that's an amazing thing to hear. Obviously, suicide prevention is something that we all want to achieve, but what I've seen in most of these videos is the discussion of suicide prevention lifelines. To me, that's kind of like watering a plant that's been dead for 5 years. It's a little late. A person who has decided that they want to kill themselves has lost any real sense of it not being a good idea. I'm not saying that suicidal people are complete lost causes. There are absolutely 100% ways of turning your life around and coming back to the land of the living, I like to call it. And I personally have kind of been a testament to that. What I do think is that waiting until that point is a little bit redundant. Other ways we can talk about this is discussing mental illness, but I could hand you the DSM, which is the Diagnostic Statistic Manual for all the mental illnesses in the world, most of which in some cases have been known to cause suicide. But you're still not gonna really have a good idea of how to prevent suicide. What I am implying and suggesting we do is actually open the discussion for mental health. And this is a lesson for everyone, because we all know that life is stressful. We have to deal with busy jobs, busy cities, noise, people, stressful social interactions, and a whole load of other things that we've never really had to deal with before. But we're not discussing those things. I'm suggesting that we start talking about mental health and the ways that we can stay mentally healthy and regain our mental health when we're in times of depression, or whatever the case may be for you or your loved ones. I've seen a lot of people on YouTube discuss the Logan Paul issue and blast him as a person. That's not helping anything. I've seen a lot of people talking about how YouTube failed the community. That's not helping anyone. I've heard a lot of people talk about these prevention lifelines and these phone lines that you can call to prevent suicide or when you're about to commit suicide. But if we're leaving it to that last inch of potentially life, even if they don't commit suicide that time, the suicidal ideation needs to be dealt with in a long-term treatment plan. So why don't we actually talk about mental health and how to stay mentally healthy and not even get to the point of suicidal ideation and suicidal desires. This has been a very inflammatory time for a lot of people, and I want to ask you, how are you today? How are you feeling? I would like to encourage you to discuss your feelings and openly listen to other people talking about their feelings. I want to promote the idea of finding balance in your life, being mindful and in the moment, and staying aware of all the good things in your life. I would like to suggest to you that if you are in a time where you feel dark and down and depressed, yes, those lifelines are 100% available to you, but you also have friends and pets and the park down the road and the sun, and you have doctors and you have psychologists and psychiatrists and counselors and therapists, and there is an entire profession dedicated to mental health. If you have felt awful for most of the time, for a long time, then there are people who are there to look out for you. It's very easy for a mentally healthy person to sit there and say, just call the suicide prevention lifeline and you'll be fine. But for a person in that moment, it's not fine. And it hasn't been fine for a really long time. And I hear you, and I understand, and I believe you, and I believe your story. But what I want you to do in this moment is take a moment and look at all the things that are causing you stress. But I also want you to look at all the things that bring you joy and take you out of your thoughts and take you out of that darkness. And focus on those things and do more of those things. Whether it's watching Shane Dawson on YouTube or going for a run or lifting weights or being around friends. I don't care what brings you joy, what gives you that light. I want you to find that and do it more. And I want you to discuss this with other people. Ask them how they're feeling and do not be afraid of what they might say. Don't ask someone how they are if you don't actually want them to respond with how they actually are. I want to open the discussion for stress, because stress is a massive contributing factor to a lot of mental health concerns. And it's time that we actually address the fact that we live really stressful lives. Find a way to relax. Find a way to be grateful for what you have. I want us all to find a way to discuss with other people how we stay mentally healthy and what makes us practice mental hygiene. I want us all to come together and talk about mental health. The things we do to stay emotionally positive, to find balance in our lives, how we maintain mental health in general. I want us to actually discuss the things that are bothering us openly and freely and without judgment. I want us to be able to actually face the problem that Logan Paul spoke of in his video without actually talking about that problem in a way that just becomes conversational. 2018 is not out the window yet. In fact, this has opened the discussion for something that has been needed to be talked about for years and years and years. And we all know it. So why don't you ask your neighbor or your friend or your family member, how are you today? How are you feeling? What can I do to help? How can I help you feel less stressed? How can you help me to feel less stressed? What can we all do for each other? We all know that suicide has a massively painful impact on thousands of people across the world every day. Not just the individuals who are contemplating suicide, but their families, their community members, everyone in the general vicinity after they are gone. I want you to really contemplate who you would miss and talk to them about how much you value your friendship and value their interactions and the light that they bring to your life. Look for that light as much as you can, and I don't care if you're contemplating suicide or the happiest person on the planet, keep looking for that light. Keep looking for things to bring you joy and make your days even brighter. With that being said, I think this is an incredible opportunity to actually have some change on mental health. We need to be addressing this from the position of mental health, not the fact that suicide is bad, because we all know suicide is bad, but people keep killing themselves. We've all heard, don't kill yourself. It's bad, okay? But people still do. So I think it's time that we address this problem from the flip side and ask people around us how we can help and encourage conversation about mental health. So leave in the comments down below what makes you mentally healthy, what makes you happy on a day-to-day basis. Tell me what brings you joy. And I want to see you guys all in the comments talking about the good things in your life and how you're going to help the people around you. Let's actually discuss the way that we can ask a doctor for help and how a doctor should be someone that you aren't afraid to actually tell, hey, I'm feeling really bad a lot. We shouldn't be afraid to see a psychologist. There shouldn't be this taboo on people who do see psychologists, because stress is an issue of mental health. And if I were to ask you in the past 12 months, have you ever said, gee, I'm really stressed? I think most, if not all of you, would say yes. This is about changing the mindset around a psychologist from someone that crazy people see to someone you see for a mental health checkup. We'll often get a health checkup, we'll get blood work done, and we'll check our physical health. We'll go to a dentist and have our teeth cleaned and make sure that our oral hygiene is fine. But why are we not open to the discussion of actually checking that our emotional hygiene and our mental growth and our mental health is okay? These are all things that I really think we can learn and grow from this experience. I can't wait to see in the comments down below how you are doing today, especially with all of the things that are happening in the world, and I want to hear all of the things that make you happy as well. So I will see you in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe for more videos like this one and much more lighthearted ones. And you will see me in the next video, which is one of these boxes. So make sure you subscribe because that is the best way to do it. Okay? Bye!